Hey there, friends. Happy to see you today. If you're joining me live, go ahead and say hello. If you're watching via replay, type in replay. But I have a really simple and darling card for you featuring a new stamp set, actually a new bundle, and it is a stamp set and punch. Big fan of the stamp set and punch. I love how they work together so easily. But again, very darling, super cute card that I'm going to be sharing for you. So let me get us going this morning. All right, this is the card that I'm going to be sharing with you today. It features the Sweet Jar Bundle. You can see inside I just gave it that little bit of love there as well. So when you're looking at this, it just has this really cute little jar, and this is the thing that is the punch. So the punch sits just like this. You've got the base and then you've got the top. And what I love about this particular stamp set is that there's lots of different things that you can put in it. We're going to be making cookies today because who doesn't want cookies, right? But this little cookie one can also be colored all in different colors to make like a jelly bean, super cute. There's also some hearts, then the coordinating hearts. You've also got some 4-leaf clovers, and you've also got birthday candles here. And then you've got all of these beautiful fonts that all work together. So you can use this for so many different things. And so I think it's a really, really fun set. So I've been playing around with it, and this is the card that I came up with that I really fell in love with. I really was super happy with how this turned out. Just so everything I love. Lots of good white space, but really, really beautiful. And so let's get started on this particular card. So if you look at this, the things that we're going to be using today is we have a piece of early espresso. It is this deep chocolate color, which is perfect for chocolate chips. We have a piece of crumb cake, which is going to be also the color of ink that I'm using for my cookies. And then we have 2 pieces of basic white. I've also got a scrap of white here that we're going to be using to make that card as well for some of these images that are popped up. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this first inside piece of basic white. And the reason that I want to start with this is because when I made this card the first time, it took a little minute for it to dry, and I ended up smearing ink absolutely everywhere. So I'm going to take the love from this stamp set. You can see it. It's right here, this real sweet little love. Just popped it up on a little clear block, and I'm just putting it into that cherry cobbler. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take it along the base of the inside of what I'm going to be using for the inside of my card. And this is just going to give me a little bit of interest in that area so that it's not just a plain front or plain inside card. So I'm just going to take that and we're going to set that aside for a hot minute there. Clean that off. We are going to use that ink one more time here. So the next thing up we're going to do is we are going to create that really sweet little cookie jar. So the stamp for this, you can see right here. I will tell you that when you take that out, the best thing to do is lay it down on your paper and then put your block on top of it. It is so thin that there is a really good chance that it will, you could manipulate it into a little curved feature, which you don't want. So we're going to take that and I'm going to go ahead and stamp that in my basic gray ink. Of course, I already have a fingerful of ink. Would it be a card with me if I didn't have a fingerful of ink? No, it would not. All right, so we're going to stamp that little guy in our basic gray and give him a little go there. I'm going to grab my punch. We're going to take that upside down and we're just going to go ahead and punch out that image. Now, you could stamp the inside as well before you punched it out. It really makes no difference, but I like to stamp it out right away, get it all done with. And so then I'm going to take the top of that little jar. So this one is a little separate stamp, and I'm going to go with that in basic gray again. And I'm just going to stamp that down here below. Now, I am sure that you will find someone who has a really beautiful, tricky way of stamping those two things together and punching them out. That would not be me. I am going to punch them separate, keep it really easy for myself, and then just give that a little punch with that coordinating punch. All right, so I've got those 2 pieces for my jar. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make those cute little chocolate chip cookies, right? So with the way that this works, you've got one stamp that has the base of that. And so you're going to stamp that in your lightest ink first. Good reminder when you've got a 2-step stamp is that the solid image always goes in the lighter ink. And so I'm just going to go ahead and ink that up. And then take that, and we're going to stamp him. Oh, everyone say a little prayer that my eyes are working well today. All right. And there we have those little chocolate chip cookies in there. So I'm just going to take that little guy off, and we are going to go with the sprinkles. We're going to do the sprinkles in a deeper color, and so that early espresso, so Crumb Cake early espresso, we're using them for both the cardstock and the stamping today. So I'm just going to take this, and they've really done most of the work here for you. It should be lined up pretty well. If you don't get it perfectly, the stamping police are not going to come and find you. So just do your darndest to get it as close as you can there. And that looks pretty darn good to me. I will say I'm happy with that, right? So let's take a peek here at what we're going to do next. So we've got that really cute. We've got this really cute as well. Where did I put my card sample? Well, we're just going to be winging it here. We're going to be winging it. I don't have my sample out anymore. So we're going to make the little greeting for that. Okay, so the greeting for that is really sweet. It comes again from the stamp set. This sending a little, and then there's a space, and then your way. That's all one stamp. So we're going to stamp this all together, and then we're going to stamp the word love right in there. I went ahead and used my Nested Essentials dies, which I absolutely love. Use these all the time. You've got the great banner right here, and so I just created a little banner from that from a scrap of white cardstock. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my early espresso, ink that up, and then we're going to go ahead and just center that right on there, sending a little, and then we're going to come back with that word love. We're going to come back into that cherry cobbler, and let's see how we do. Darling, so cute. So you can see sending a little love your way. So with this little banner, you can see that one side, when we do it, do you see how we've got that little bit of extra detailing there? It goes just a little bit more detailing. So we're going to keep that right there. So we are done with our ink for now. So we're going to scoot that out of the way. Oh, actually, I'm going to keep that red. I want to do one more thing on this card with that cherry cobbler. So let me open that guy back up, because I do want to do just one more thing with him. Of course, it's going to be just a stinker. There we go. And I'm going to come to the front of the card. And just like we have that love all over the bottom of the inside of the card, I'm going to do the same thing here. And I'm just going to come up a little bit, but I'm just going to take that love, and we're just going to work it across. And again, it just adds some really good visual interest. And when it's a card that's really simple, just going with a little bit of that just gives us a little bit more interest to that card. So we've got that little one there. So now what we're going to do is we are going to pop our cookie jar up on that card front. So I'm just going to take my 2 dimensionals, come to the back here, put that guy right there. We're going to also come and we're going to put some dimensionals on the top of the jar as well. And that's where those mini dimensionals come in really handy, because you've got just a little bit smaller space, and so it'll give us just the right lift, and we don't have to cut and fuss with anything. So that'll be really good. So we're going to do that, and we're just going to take it so that it is sitting off just a little bit of an angle, again giving a little bit of visual interest there. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my red and white twine. I am obsessed with this red and white twine. I have so much of it. I think it is just like the most perfect thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here. I want to figure out where I'm going to put my greeting. So I'm going to put my greeting right about there. So what I want to do is I want to take that twine, and I'm going to wrap it around this card. Come around, make sure it's fairly even, make sure it overlaps there, and then I'll just use my little snip to cut that, and we can fuss with it a little bit to make sure it's a little bit more even. All right, so I've just got that right there, and then I'm going to take my greeting and I'm going to put my greeting right on top of it. I'm going to grab a couple more dimensionals, put that greeting right on top. Get those little guys off, they're sticky little fellas. And we're just going to set that right there. Now, I want to add just another little bow with this twine. So I'm just going to take it, wrap it around. You don't really have to be too fussy when you're making a bow with twine because it's not like there's a front and a back and it can get really wonky on you. So we'll just snip that as well. All right, and for this, I think I'm going to go ahead with a little bit of a glue dot. Glue dots, again, a little bit smaller, a little bit easier to use when we're using it with ribbon or twine, and they kind of disappear on things. So you can see how that card front has come together. So next thing we're going to do is we're just going to do some popping up and layering of this card, and we are done. So I'm going to turn this guy over. I'm going to go with some dimensionals on the back so that we get a little bit more pop on the front of the card. And then I'm going to layer this front one on a piece of crumb cake. And so since I'm doing a double layer in the front, this piece of white is actually 3 3/4 by 5. And then the crumb cake will be 4 by 5 1/4. So that creates a really nice layer for your card front. So we'll put that one right there for you. We'll come in with that early espresso. Oh, there's my card I found hiding underneath the early espresso. That is just how it goes sometimes. Neat and tidy while stamping. I mean, you guys, the number of things I have lost while I've stamped. I have found the cling stamps like on my clothing. I mean, the little doohickeys to the back of the dimensionals literally everywhere. It's so funny. And I always think like, okay, I heard from someone like, don't put it down if you can put it away. And that sounds like such a really clever thing to say. And I am here for sharing that information. Just know I am not so good at actually following that information. I tend to create a little bit of chaos. And so then I've got my inside of the card. So we're just going to go ahead and throw a little bit of adhesive on that as well. And put that inside. And there you go. Really darling, super easy. I mean, that is just so cute. I love the colors of that as well. And so that is using the Sweet Jar stamp set along with the punch that creates that bundle. So that is the fun card that I have for you today. Again, very fun, very simple, very easy. You can make a ton of those very, very simply and quickly. So thanks for joining me. Now, things to remember. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. As I'm building this YouTube channel, I will take all the love that I can get. Also, I will put below in the directions a link to my newsletter. You're going to want to make sure and be signed up for that. That is where all of the tips and tricks and tutorials are going to be going out to people. So make sure that you do that. And thanks for joining me today, and I hope to see you soon.